I just think, the union is definitely in going backwards, and it's not in a good place right now. And I think my voice could be huge in that situation, but I'm not sure. I don't know if I have the time to do it, but it's something I'm going to think about with my team and go from there. But I think we all can agree on that. There's been a lot of transition in our union in the last couple of years, and hopefully, if it's not me in that seat, then it's someone that's comfortable with it and can also do the job.
LeBron speaking at a charity event in Akron, expressing his concerns over the direction of the players' union. So, Stephen A., should LeBron run for president?
Yes, he should. But before I elaborate on my position, let me apologize to LeBron James and his folks. I was invited to Akron this week, and I could not make it, Skip. I had to go to the neighborhood awards for Steve Harvey, as I promised I would in Las Vegas. So I had a previous commitment. I wasn't able to attend. Now let me get back to LeBron James, okay?
Steve Harvey,
it's
LeBron.
important to mention this.
Steve LeBron.
We're not for sure.
Steve Harvey, LeBron.
Demand.
Well, I'm just saying. Well, Steve, listen. I promised I would be there. It was to help some people in the community, not to mention the fact that Steve Harvey's my man. We've been friends for a decade.
Okay.
So I love LeBron, but Steve Harvey's my man.
Okay.
Now, let me get back to it, okay? Here's the deal. Right now, the Players Association is in flux. They recently had to push back meetings. The guys that were going to run for executive director of the Players Association, Isaiah Thomas, Steve Mills, Stu Jackson, Michael Jordan's right-hand man, Fred Whitfield, David Cornwell, A-Rod's attorney, along with a guy that represents numerous athletes, and Eddie Tapscott, who used to be the second in charge under Ernie Grunfeld with the New York Knicks, used to run the Charlotte Bobcats under Bob Johnson, all right? Ed Tapscott wants the executive director's position as well. So you got all of those things to consider, plus player movements. Derek Fisher's out as the president. He's about to be out. They gotta make decisions. Chris Paul would probably love to do this job because he's been a VP in the Players Association. He's been on the executive committee. He's definitely qualified. But I spoke to him last week, and he says if LeBron wants to run, that's his brother, as far as he's concerned. Loves LeBron, knows he's the face of the league, and if this is something LeBron wants to do, he will absolutely stand up and support LeBron in every step of the way. But if it's not going to be LeBron, it will probably be Chris Paul. Here's why it needs to be LeBron. LeBron is the face of this league. He does not need the money. And he consistently talks about what the players need as a body, not for himself. He knows he's got his. But it is rare in the day that the NBA, particularly during collective bargaining negotiations, get to sit across from a player rep or the president of the Players Association who happens to be a superstar in this league and the face of this league. When you could sit there, even though it's a negotiation, and even though they're all supposed to be in it together, we know how contentious it can get, Skip. It's a little bit different if you're the league. And the person you're sitting across from the table talking to, the way negotiations go down and how contentious it gets, it's a little bit different for that person to be Derek Fisher compared to LeBron James. And so if you're LeBron and you're thinking about having an impact that resonates and affects the league in a very profound way that makes them look at you just a tad bit differently because of who you are and the position you hold within the Players Association. They've got to sit there and give you considerably more respect. It resonates because the players know it. And the players have no choice but to respect you as well because you're the best player in the league getting paid an exorbitant amount of money who doesn't need to be spending your time doing this, which means the only reason you would be doing it is because of them, not yourself. And as a result, they will rally behind you and be more unified than ever before, which is what LeBron says and has repeatedly shown is his primary agenda. He is the perfect man for this job.
Absolutely the perfect man for this job. As LeBron said, His voice could be huge. It could be the hugest, Stephen A. You know it, and I know it. The man for this job right now, as this league and its Players Association is in dangerous transition, is LeBron James. And Stephen A., in all objectivity, he cannot take this position. It's a full-time job. He has a full-time job during basketball season. This job, because I know LeBron well enough to know he would pour heart and soul into this job because it would mean so much to him. He would be so honored to have this chair that it would take away, it would have to detract from his performance on the basketball court. And right now, in the middle of his prime, he can't afford that. It's not worth it to him. His basketball should still be the priority for now. He could be the chief advisor to the president of the league. He could be sort of the wingman to that to the president. He could be there when the big decision comes down, but there's too much day-to-day red tape for a LeBron James at the height of his powers on the basketball court to try to do this. Stephen A., again, he's the right man at the wrong time for this job. I would, again, my little 2 cents on this, bad idea right now, LeBron.
Right man at the wrong time. Okay.
Let me say this to you, Skip. It's very important that I say this to you. And I mean this with respect. I'm not messing with you or anything. I am disappointed in your position. And here's why. If LeBron had never won a ring, your point would be exponentially more valuable. The point is he already has 2 rings. Now, that's not to say he's not going to get more, anything like that, but there does come a point in time, or at least there should, in every professional athlete's career, considering today's day and age where so much of an onus is placed on them, not just as athletes, but as role models, as contributors to their community, as contributors to their contemporaries. When we talk about, or dare I say lament, the state of affairs as it pertains to professional athletes in this day and age, what their lives should be like while they're in this profession, the kind of things they should consider. More importantly, how they should take those tools and utilize it, not just to affect and impact themselves and their contemporaries while they're playing, but far beyond the playing field and the playing court and far beyond their playing careers, to the point where it resonates in such a fashion that it affects those who follow. We're talking about a LeBron James that has the potential to affect a generation, not just of wannabe athletes, not just of aspiring athletes, but the dudes that are playing in the game today. He can affect them in a way where they can be an extension of him and profoundly affect a generation of aspiring athletes to come and beyond for decades to come. That, to me, should be more, but should be just as significant as him chasing rings. And if he has the ability to do it with his level of present greatness, I can't understand how you or anyone would sit there and say he shouldn't do it. I know you know he's the right man for the job, but to say he shouldn't do it with the lives that he can affect, I'm sorry, Skip, I respectfully disagree with you.
Okay. What standards have I always judged LeBron by from the time he came out of high school? He wanted to be Michael Jeffrey Jordan. He chose 23. He chose to adopt the powder toss before games. So I said, okay, chosen one, I will set your bar here because you have the God-given ability to get to maybe even here. And I'm good with that. So I sat back and I watched, and he struggled and he struggled and he struggled and he struggled, and he finally broke through. This is all new to him. He barely won the first one. They needed a shot by Ray Allen to save him from losing this one, or he would have been 1-3 in championships in the NBA Finals. And Stephen A., I still have to say, okay, the wallpaper on your phone right now, or the last time we looked, according to Sports Illustrated, was LeBron out on the perimeter.
Yeah.
He was he guarding Jordan or being guarded by? I can't remember. But the point is, he's got Jordan in his mind. You tell me, would Michael Jordan at this age have taken on this position? No way. And again, maybe you lose respect for Jordan, but Jordan's saying, I'm going to maximize.
No, I don't.
I'm maxing out.
Hold it. I have profound respect for the greatest player that I've ever seen play. My man, Michael Jordan. There's no question about that.
My man, Michael
But
Jordan.
Skip, there's something to be said. That's my brother. But there's something to be said for being true to yourself and your personality. Skip, what you're saying, if LeBron was like Jordan personality-wise, I get you. But he's not that dude.
Okay.
He's more politically conscious
I
than
agree.
Michael Jordan ever was.
I accept that.
Skip, is tantamount. It's tantamount, Skip, to me coming on the airwaves and asking you to be quiet. I mean, this is not what you do. Being quiet is not your MO, Skip. I mean, that's not a part of your personality. Or me. I mean, come on, Skip. So all I'm saying is, if LeBron was like Jordan personality-wise, and he didn't care. Shouldn't say care, but Jordan prefers to walk quietly.
Cold-blooded.
He prefers to operate
Basketball
behind
first.
the scenes. LeBron is not. That's not LeBron. LeBron is different, and I say applaud him for it and support him on that. I gotta say that.
Okay, should I lower my expectations if he takes this job next year? Should I say, well, I guess he's just sort of semi-retired now?
I think he can do both.
Well, that's a lot,
I think he
Stephen
can do
A.
both, Skip.
I'm quoting him.
I think he can do
don't
both.
know if I have the time to do this. You don't. Nobody does.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let's say about this. LeBron, if he were to take the position, the last player in his prime to be union president was Isaiah Thomas in the 80s. We shall see. Coming up.